Oh, yeah. About that time, happy people. I got my wing kitty here, Charlie Cat. She's starting to jump in on my live streams, which is pretty cool. For those of you on my Facebook, you've probably seen Charlie Cat around, but she's digging all the podcasting and everything. But thank you, everybody, for showing up tonight. This is the first Wednesday night Unleashed. I had to do this because I have so many shows coming up with stephenpearcy and the project Pump 5 that I had to change the day or I wouldn't be able to hang out with you guys. And we've been having so much fun the last 24 weeks, 6 months, right? And I didn't want the party to stop. So I said, hey, why don't I just change the day to Wednesday, do like a 1-2 punch, have Fright Bite on Tuesday nights like we have been at 6 with Dahlia Dark. And then Wednesday will be the Unleashed. And then we could just all do different stuff on the weekend and have something to talk about each Wednesday. As you know, I missed last week's Hangout because I was out with the legendary voice of Rat, stephenpearcy. Sorry, the cat jumped and screwed my earbuds up. Anyways, yep, we went out to Iowa and Lake Charles, Louisiana for 2 shows. We had Jimmy DeAnda on drums for Bullet Boys, and we had Joel Hoekstra on lead guitar. So that was a really cool weekend. Lots of awesome fans we got to meet there. So I'll be talking about that. But let's kick it off. It's the Unleashed number 24. I threw this together today. I like when I wear the same thing when I take the picture. I take it earlier in the day, pop it on. Who's the guy in the picture? He's me. It's the same guy. Yeah. Let me get in and say hi to you guys because there's already a bunch of you leaving comments. Josh, first on deck. Can't wait to see you soon, buddy. Got one heck of a song written. Hope your day is going great. Day has been going good. Busy. It seems like this time of year is time to shampoo the carpets if you have pets and so forth. I was looking on the calendar, my last year's calendar, and it was like this exact week that I pulled out my carpet shampooer and went to town and the condo here and got a bunch of cat hair up and stains. Yesterday, right before the Fright Bite, I had a huge cup of coffee I just filled up, and we've recently moved our kitchen table to the sliding door so you could see the ocean a little better, and the chair was sticking out, and as I was walking by, I just smashed that coffee cup into the chair and dumped coffee all over the carpet, and it was like, yeah, it's going to be time to shampoo some carpets. So I managed to do that today. I started working on a road vlog for these 2 shows that we just did this weekend, and I will have that out tomorrow, so look forward to that. Who else we got here? Skylar. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Skylar, for remembering that tonight's the new Unleashed night. I appreciate it. T-Cuz, early bird, saw some pics of Erik in Lake Charles. He got a pic with the singer of the Lake Charles area band Choke, Tracy McGinnis. Very cool. Yeah, Tracy, he right when I was walking to the stage area from the hotel, Tracy stopped me and he's like, man, it's Tracy McGinnis. And we took a picture, and yeah, he posted. It was cool to meet him. It's nice when you have your online friends, but it's super cool when they come up to you and go, hey, man, it's me. And you go, hey, but you feel like you've known each other a long time. So that was very cool. Let me see. Skojo's in the house. Evening, everyone. Yeah, we hung out. Scott Johnson here and Tim Lloyd, who I've known these guys for decades, right? And Scott's living in Oklahoma. Tim lives in Dallas. And if they could make any show that's within like 5 hours, they'll get on the road and head out there and help us out and so forth. And it was no different this past weekend. Those guys came out, and they're definitely all through the road vlog, and it's some funny stuff. Tim, as you know, even from the show here, is hilarious. And there's some scenes in there. I got to figure out how I'm going to edit this because it might be too much, but definitely tomorrow You're going to get a laugh out of this road vlog that I have going. Kenny Hall's in the house, everybody. What up? What up, Kenny? Thanks for being here, buddy. And we got JK Bass. Aloha, all. Man, that's a very Spicoli thing to say.
Let's party.
I'm going to have to give you a hey, bud, let's party. Whew, yeah. So
let's have us a champagne jam.
So we have ourselves a champagne jam tonight. Woo, RDT's here, y'all. I made it in time. Barely. Hello, all. Yeah. A lot of you guys were at the Fright Bite last night, and I definitely appreciate it. Dahlia Dark and I had a lot of fun. I know that this next Tuesday is going to be a special vampire mission that goes down, and it has to do with werewolves. If you're into werewolves, in fact, I'll give you a news clip that I TiVo'd from the Fright Bite with the Northern Ireland correspondent Siobhan O'Rain, and you could check out a little taste of what's been going on. Oh, I hate when it does that. Hang on. Let's try that again. It's a live show, folks.
Good evening, this is Siobhan O'Rain with the Boo TV Special News Report. A Las Vegas couple was found deceased over the weekend in what appears to be a brutal animal attack. Neighbors reported hearing wolf howls coming from inside the victim's apartment, followed by loud, blood-curdling screams. Both victims were scientists, and police say items from the couple's home were missing. The following is exclusive footage of the attack. Let's have a look. If you have any information on the whereabouts of the werewolf, please phone Garda at 4428-3333-7777. This has been Siobhan O'Rain. Stay safe, stay alert, and don't forget to lock your doors and don't answer to strangers after midnight. Back to you in studio.
Siobhan O'Rain, everybody. Yeah, pretty crazy, right? The big bad werewolf attacked some scientists that were living in Las Vegas, and looks like there were some deaths involved, and we're not even sure what exactly is going on, but I have a feeling Dr. Von Brainscan and Dr. Ivana Howell are going to be recruiting Dahlia and the Count for a werewolf mission. In fact, they've been working on a serum so that the Count and Dahlia can turn into werewolves by drinking it, and an alternate serum so that they can reverse the werewolf syndrome or what have you. So it should be a really crazy Fright Bite on Tuesday. Make sure you guys don't miss that. But let me get back in here and say hi to everybody. We got Dotson 200SX. I know Dotson was there last night. Hello, everyone. And our resident Smokey Bear, Stoney Jackson. Let's go, mofos. Yeah. And there he is, folks. Tim Lloyd 69. What a character my friend Tim is. We had such a good time at the St. Charles, Louisiana gig, and I can't wait for you guys to see some of this stuff that I have in the vlog. But thank you guys for helping us, and also Skojo's buddy Kenny was out there, and we got some free like stage hands and stuff. But Tim helped film some footage for the vlog as well, so we definitely appreciate it. Tim's saying, "Fire it up!" That's right. Fire it up. It's hump day, y'all. So I hope this works out for you guys. Wednesdays, right? Is it okay with you? I mean, I thought this was better than missing a bunch of days. It sucked not seeing you guys last Friday. What have you guys been up to? Anything exciting happened to you personally? Or even if it's bummer stuff, you can tell me. We can all talk about it. JK Bass says, Wednesday's better for me too. Well, there you go. Hit the like button, butt bongo. Yeah, where is my butt? I'm gonna have to get up and look for my butt bongos. I had them here. I was like moving everything around because I was shampooing carpets. Let me see. T-Cuz, you're so right. Hit those like buttons. Lee Ming Incorporated. Hello, Lee Ming. Happy to have you here. Lee Ming is always at the Fright Bites with his family. And it's cool when you guys slum it with me on the Unleashed nights too. The more the merrier. I love it. And I know you guys love to talk to each other on here. And it looks like that's pretty much what's going on. Li Ming saying chocolate ice cream, gang. Yeah, he likes chocolate milk, chocolate ice cream. He was telling us all about it. David Carrasco. Hello, all. What's happening? David C. And we also got John Evans. Good to see you, buddy. I thought myself, did I miss the whole week already? No. It's the 1-2 punch. It's the Fright Bite on Tuesdays. And then our Unleashed Hang will be on Wednesdays for the whole summer. You know, and actually it'll probably end up staying that way, to be honest. I mean, Friday nights, you know, you guys should be doing stuff with your friends and family. You know, it should be out. Anyways, David Carrasco. Hey, Minger. Hey, dude, let's party. All right. So spill the teas. Who was the rock star you don't have a good experience with? You know what's funny? I guess the biggest rock star that I had a bad experience with was Janie Lane. I think I talked about that on a past Unleashed episode, although it was towards the end of the night. But probably about 20 years ago now, Steven got asked to do a VH1 acoustic tour. And this ended up being a really kind of strange tour that I did that had, of course, stephenpearcy. It had Don Dokken. It had Kip Winger. It had Reb Beach, who was playing with Kip. Who else? It had the whole Firehouse band. So CJ, obviously, rest in peace, CJ. It was the whole Firehouse band as well. Am I missing anybody? Of course, Janie Lane and Michael, our friend, was playing guitar for him. So we had one bus. And all these guys were on it together. Like I had a top bunk. Don Dawkins' bunk was under mine. When the tour started out, Janie was sober at this time. He wasn't with Warrant, but he was trying to get his life together so he could rejoin Warrant, if I recall. But at this time, he had, in that recent months before, been kind of a mess. But he had pulled it together for this. He was out there, but it didn't take more than a day or two before he started drinking, because not everybody was sober that was on this tour. The other guys, Don had his wine, and I think most of those guys were drinking. Steven was drinking. Oh, Frankie Wilsey from Arcade. It was Steven, me, and Frankie to do Steven's acoustic part of this. Now, originally it was going to be like a reality show for VH1 where they were going to film all these like past their prime, I guess, rock guys that were going to go out and do this acoustic tour. And then the tour happened. It was mostly House of Blues kind of venues, but they didn't end up doing like a full film it deal. And it was probably for the best. You know what I mean? Not everybody was at their best at that time. But throughout this tour bus thing, Janie got progressively worse with everybody. It wasn't just me. By a week into it, he ended up being kicked off the bus altogether and had to like follow the tour bus in the RV that the techs and stuff were in. And, you know, I'd like to tell you it got better, but it just didn't. And things kind of came to a head the night before we were supposed to go to Sirius Radio down in like New York, in the city, to do a 6 a.m. like interview / play some songs type situation. And the night before, we're at the hotel restaurant. I was sitting there with Frankie, and Janie comes up and he throws down a big shot of Jack Daniels on the table, a big like glass of it. He's like, who wants to like go out and party tonight? And I was like, oh, Janie Lane party. Well, this could be fun. And Frankie kind of knew better. He's like, he's like, no, I think I'm going to hang back. We got to be up early, you know, this. And I go, okay. And I ended up drinking the shot. I felt kind of obliged, you know, at the time to go do it. But we ended up going out into the city. I think Janie wanted to go to a strip bar or something like that. And it was him. It was like his tech guy that he had. Me, I can't remember if anybody else was with us or not. But we get down to this bar, and I feel like I got roofied or something. It was just like that movie, The Hangover. You know, it's just like flashes of things happening. I remember there was a dancer dancing for us, and I had a couple of ones, and I remember I threw some ones at her, and then when she finished her dance, I remember she looked and saw that they were just ones and got all pissed off and like threw them back at me, and she was like, ah, you know, yelled some expletives and then marched off. And then I remember Janie's tech like picking up the ones, and Janie was just on a good one that night. I mean, they were partying with on some other stuff too, and it was like on to the next place type scenario. We get into the cab, and at that point, he gets into like an argument with me, and the cab driver has this like partition that he could put up in an emergency like situation. I was sitting in the front seat and those guys were behind, but Janie was so mad. He was like almost like, you know, reaching for me to like swing for me from the back of the taxi or what have you. Anyways, the partition goes up, shroom, and I say to the guy, "Oh, I'm like, this is great that you did that, you know, so I don't have to deal with him anymore." He's like, "Get out." The guy ends up like kicking us out in this totally bad neighborhood. And I kind of maybe jumped the gun a little bit. I was like, man, we had cash on us. We were like, this was not the place I thought we wanted to be. And I saw a cop, and I was just going to go ask him, is there like a good spot to go catch a cab or something like that? No, maybe that was stupid at the time. Mind you, this was 20 years ago. But Janie, I was holding, I think, and he freaked out that I went over there. The cop didn't really care. He's like, he kind of messed with me. He was like, why don't you just like go over there? There's one. And anyways, we jumped in a cab, but it was the same thing. Like he was yelling at me the whole way home, ended up sticking me with the cab fare. Anyway, when it came to the next morning, we had to be up at like 4 a.m. to head into the city to get to this interview. And he pulled one of those deals where he's like, if he's going, meaning me, he was not going to go to this interview. And you would think that they would be like, oh, well, because at this time I had only been playing for Steven for like 3 years or 4 years or something like that. I was definitely a nobody at this point. And you would think for sure that they would kick me off so Janie could come to this appearance. But he had bummed out everybody on this bus, and I'll spare the details with that. But everybody started chanting. They actually wanted me to kick his ass. They were like, kick his ass, kick his ass. It was so stupid. It was funny. But there's a poster that I've been meaning to get that was from Metal Edge magazine that shows the Firehouse guys and Steven and Kip and Reb and me. It was like a centerfold from one of the issues back then. I was meaning to get it. In fact, I don't know if Neely's watching or Chris Aiken. I think those guys have it. If they text it to me, I'll be able to pull it up tonight. But definitely he was the guy that I had the biggest, like, almost to blows with. And it's unfortunate, he definitely, you've heard has his demons and stuff, but he was a fantastic front man and singer, and his songs were incredible that he wrote that still stand up today. So it's nothing, at him as a rock star or anything. It was just him as a person. Unfortunately, it didn't go well. So anyway, Lee Ming, that's your first story of the night. RDT, hey, Eric, I'm going to be in San Diego in 2 weeks. Is that where you are? Yeah, I live in San Diego, Oceanside, actually, near Camp Pendleton. And I'm on the beach here. It's pretty awesome. Been here for some years now. And it's super sweet. David Carrasco saying hi to Skylar. All right. And he's saying that I rule. Keep it up. Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think I'll jump back. Oh, Daddy Goth's here too. Let me say, hey, what's happening, Daddy Goth? And Jojo, what is happening, Eric? First live unleashed. First, he was at the Jojo was at the first Fright Bite, which thank you so much. And now you're here tonight, and I appreciate that, and hope to see you on Tuesday. Did you have fun at that Fright Bite last night? Was it what you thought it would be, or did you think it was stupid? Some people hate it. I personally, I like it. I do it because I think it's funny. Dahlia loves doing it, and we have a cool group of people that love it. So we decided we're going to do it. We don't care if like it only gets 300 people watching it or something. We don't care. We think it is going to grow though. I'm like finding its audience, if you will. But as far as podcasts go, I think it's pretty unique. and it's still similar. It's like comedians basically just riffing, plus the special missions that Dahlia and the Count go on give it a kind of sci-fi horror, crappy horror movie vibe that's cool in an Elvira mystery science theater type way. Jay Krager, how's everyone doing? Yeah, it's a big Unleashed party tonight. Let me see. RDT still can't figure out what the werewolf had in his claws. Yeah, in that news report, it looked like some items were stolen from the scientists in Vegas. And I think it might be a hard drive. I think it's a hard drive and a serum, some type of serum they're working on. So we'll find out more on Tuesday. But yeah, we're intrigued now. It's becoming a mystery. Lu Ming, I guess I'll witness these rather juvenile antics. Oh, well, Lu Ming, we're happy that you're with us tonight. I know it takes a lot out of you to be here, and it's painful for you to smile and laugh, but we know you're going to do your best. Let me see. Dale Groot. I like the Wednesday show. Usually have to grandparent on Fridays. Oh, well, I apologize I didn't switch it sooner. I'm stoked everybody's going to be able to be here now. Li Ming, I did a new fave face to cashiers. They were very confused. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, Li Ming's our resident comedian at the Fright Bite. We're always stoked to have Li Ming here. Hit the like button for Eric. Yeah, please do it for me. Man, I got to tell you guys, I did have a rough flight going out to that, was it Iowa show? Like we left on Thursday, which was the day before the gig. We've been taking airlines that I don't normally take. We were like Delta and Southwest for the last couple of years, but now we're kind of moving, I guess, to airlines like American and United. And Thursday, my itinerary was I had a flight at, I believe, 12:30 in the afternoon, which was cool. I wasn't going to have to get up super early for it or anything. And it was supposed to take me to Denver with like an hour or so layover and then head over to Moline, because Moline, Illinois is only about 15 minutes from where we were playing in Iowa, which was a casino called Rhythm City. And this should have been like an easy peasy situation. I got there on time for my flight. I'm sitting there. It was delayed by a couple minutes, but it wasn't a big deal. They load us all onto the plane. Now, who's sitting next to me was like a father. And as we were waiting, his wife came over and handed him a baby that was crying. She's like, here. And so now he like has this crying baby, and he was already a little elbowy for a middle seat guy. He was one of those unapologetic elbowers. So I was already getting annoyed before the baby even came over, but I'm sympathetic. I understand it's a little baby, whatever. But he was, I don't know, just very comfortable holding this baby, like where his whole this area was like literally on my lap. But whatever it takes, you know what I mean, to make the baby stop crying. He was feeding the baby, and it was okay. But already my blood pressure is kind of going up, and we're just sitting there, and then the captain comes on the thing, and he's like, hello, good evening, everyone. This is your captain calling from the front. Right now, it looks like our computer that we use to fly and navigate, talk to the tower, it's not working. So we got maintenance crews. They're coming over. We're going to come back in about 10 minutes and let you know how that's going. And they're just like, no. But yes, that's what's happening. So I'm sitting on this plane for about, I don't know, an hour. I mean, he would keep coming on like every 15 minutes going, well, that didn't work. So now we're going to try to turn the whole plane off and do a reboot, and they tried that. He comes back. Well, that didn't work either. We just put out a request to get a part sent over from our supplier. And at this point, they ask if anybody wants to get off the plane. They can just make sure they check in with the front. So this guy gets up and goes, thankfully. I wait about another hour. At this point, it's not looking good that I'm going to make my connecting flight right to Denver. So a little more time goes by. Then they finally kick us all off the plane. And it's like, no, this is so bad. I get off the plane, and there's a huge line of people trying to like rebook their flights or do whatever. I have to give kudos to our new tour manager, David. I let him know there was a problem. He was super hands-on about it. He got on a text message. He's like, hang on 1 second. And he had the travel agent on the phone. They figured out a way for me to get at least close to where they were, which is a Chicago flight. There was a Chicago flight that was even cheaper, actually, than what my Moline flight was, that was going to be leaving in about an hour. And they could get me on that flight and then get a ride that would be about 2.5 hours, like hire a ride to come get me. And it was going to cost about $300, but they were like, we'll do that for you. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. This is really good. Cause otherwise the only alternative would have been to wait until 2:30. They were willing to take me to Denver at 9:00 at night, allegedly. And then I'd have to spend the night in the Denver airport and wouldn't be able to catch my flight to Moline till 2:30 in the afternoon. I would have missed sound check. It was just, there was no way I was going to sleep in the Denver airport. Like, that was not an option. So they luckily hooked me up with this Chicago flight. Now, the only concern I had was my luggage, because I have my guitar I take with me in a backpack. And then I have my big suitcase. My big suitcase has my whole in-ear monitor system, but more importantly, it has my whole pedal board that has the effects I use. It has my Tonex. It's my sound that I take with me. And I'd also had my stage clothes in there. And I have about 49.8 pounds of stuff that I really need for this show that's in there. And it's a really important bag. So I finally get up to make sure my flight's changed and everything. And I'm asking her if they can go get my bag and let me gate check it. And she's like, no, we don't do that. I just tell them to move it. And everybody's stuff is out on a cart right now. So it's super easy. And I was like, oh, so you're fully confident that your guy is going to be able to get my bag on this plane that I'm going on to Chicago here in an hour? And she's like, yep, no problem. And she was kind of like goofy, like from a Portlandia or something TV show or something. She was kind of a character herself. She was kind of like, yep, super easy, one button. And I was like, okay, are you sure? Because like I'm an entertainer, and this bag of tricks here is very important for the show. It's got all my clothes in, and it's really need this to get there. And she's like, oh, one button, you'll be fine. And she was kind of almost like laughing at me in a way. And I was like, okay. And I just had this feeling that there's no way this is going to work out. So I get over to my gate, and I see that my gate is going the plane that's there when I get there is a San Francisco flight. It's gate 40. And I'm waiting for the San Francisco flight to take off so my plane to Chicago can pull in and I can leave. Well, that finally it goes down. I get on the Chicago flight, and while I'm sitting there, I decided to like track my bag to see if it's like where it is. And it's like, boop, your bag was successfully loaded onto flight 2749 or whatever. And I'm like, flight 2749. I'm like, that's not the flight I'm on. What flight is that? And you can like Google, where does flight such and such go to? And they're like, that flight goes to San Francisco. I'm like, oh my God, this gate guy grabbed my bag and just threw it on the plane that was at that gate. Not my plane, the plane that was there before. Yeah. So they're giving me I knew that's what happened, but I'm asking about it while I'm on the plane. The stewardess, the pilot was calling about it. It took them till about 2 hours before they go, yeah, okay, your bag definitely went to San Francisco. And they're like, this is what you got to do when you land, go to the gate agent, fill out a report or whatever, figure it out. And they'll, whatever. I guess what I ended up telling them to do was get the bag to Moline, where I was going to be, if that was possible. But the first step was they had to get it to Chicago first. So I was basically, first, let me say, I didn't get in. By the time I got into Chicago and they picked me up, I got back to the room at 3 a.m. Okay. I was supposed to be up at 6 in the morning to call the luggage people at the airport to make sure that they get my bag from Chicago onto that Moline um, flight to be close to us, at least. That's only 15 minutes away. I could get a ride to go get it. So it was a super stressful night. You can imagine when all your clothes, everything is like hinging on these flights making it on time. We had an early sound check too. Anyways, I'm proud to report they did manage to get my bag to Moline by about 10 in the morning. And even though United really upset me and caused me a lot of grief, I have to give kudos to their customer service and stuff. We're pretty sympathetic about it, and they did everything they could do. And at the end of the day, like, I'm just happy I got my bag more than anything, but I definitely lost a whole night's sleep over it. And as far as like filming stuff for a road vlog for that first night, it would have been a whole video of me in an airport freaking out, you know, and I didn't want to do that to you guys. I'll just tell you about it tonight and try to keep it more action packed as far as the vlog I'll put out tomorrow. But I ended up like not doing too much filming for it. I think I'm going to do like the Davenport, Iowa mixed with the Lake Charles thing is like one vlog instead of doing two separate ones, because I really was just way more concerned about my bag than like filming a thing. And another interesting thing about that, when we did play the first show and head over to Lake Charles, all those cool bands that were playing with us were together on that. So you had Sebastian Bach and his band, you had Mark Kendall, Great White, you had, you know, Brett Carlisle, you had the whole Slaughter band, Mark Slaughter, Dana and Blando and everybody. They also had Troy Patrick Farrell and White Lion, Mike Tramp, and all these bands were together. We were like all on the same flight going into Lake Charles. And I probably could have filmed all that stuff, but like no one else was filming anything. And like sometimes you just got to like take it in just as yourself, just in your mind. You don't have to like exploit everything all the time. And I just felt like, man, I'm not going to start, you know, filming these guys. Like, it was just cool to be one of them. You know what I mean? And especially to be in the headlining band, you know, thankfully I play for Steven. I mean, to say these guys are opening for me, they're not, they're opening for Piercy, but I'm in the headlining band. And I don't know. I just was super proud to be of this killer lineup. Like all these bands that we're playing are totally bands that I used to go see as a teenager. You know, I was at Skid Row's 18 in Life video when they were filming that at San Diego Sports Arena. I was 18 years old when that came out. All those bands I used to see play, you know, Great White, Slaughter, all of them. I never got to see White Lion. I did play with the drummer for White Lion, Greg D'Angelo. He played in the stephenpearcy band for a couple years. So I got to know Greg. And I think the only White Lion song we ever did was a cover. We tried to play Radar Love back then. It was a total train wreck. But White Lion songs are not easy to play. Like Vito Bratta is an insane guitar player. Just his rhythm chops are amazing. His leads are amazing. But, you know, I have to tell you, White Lion like totally impressed me. I'm not saying that just because I'm friends with Troy, but and I'm sorry I didn't get the guitar player's name. He looks really Italian-y, like Vito does. Like maybe they're from the same like neighborhood in New York or something. I don't know. But this dude like totally pulled off all the Vito stuff. Mike Tramp looks terrific. His performance was great. This was a daytime event in St. Charles. Excuse me, Lake Charles, not St. Charles, Lake Charles, Louisiana. And this thing, even when we were playing this, it was still light out, but super humid, hot day. But this casino that we played was terrific. We had a great time there. My room looked down onto the stage. What this thing was like, it was called the 80s Rock Invasion was the name of the event. And it was like a pool party, basically. It was a pool party that was in the pool area. They had a whole pool and grotto. And then they had a stage set up with a lawn. And this event started at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. White Lion hit the stage, and it was just a whole day of 80s rock bands, people in their bathing suits, having a killer time. The audience was so nice and friendly. And it was just killer. Like, I didn't have to spend the whole day kind of sitting out in the sun. I was just from my room. I was able to watch all the bands and hear all the bands play. And it was just an awesome day, like one killer band after another, and they just all sounded amazing. So I got footage from all the bands that you're gonna see. And our show was great. Had a great time playing for these people. And I'm seeing like younger people that are getting into Rat, like, that are, of course, like, we get to play concerts for people that are taking their grandkids and their kids that are seeing a concert for the first time at these kind of fair type situations or whatever, which I totally appreciate and love. That the first time they're seeing a concert is when I was playing there. I mean, that's super cool. But it was just interesting to me that these younger people love the rap music today, that are discovering it so much more than they like some of the other music that's out today. And they were just super stoked. Everybody was singing the words, and I don't know, it was a great time. But probably one of the coolest things that happened was after the show, I was hanging with Skojo and some friends and stuff, and we were going to have dinner afterwards. And there was a long wait for the table. And I was like, well, what are we going to do to kill some time? So we headed into the casino. And I don't typically gamble. Like, I'm out there to make money, not lose money. But we had time, and I figured, it's super busy here at the casino. I bet you I could probably make a little money if I played some on a video poker or something, threw down 20, or I was willing to lose like $40. Let me say that. And they had my favorite machine, that double multi-reel poker that's got like the 10 reels or more sometimes if you're in Vegas, but it had like 10 reels that you can hold. It was like a 25-cent machine. And the first one I went to actually was full. It didn't even take any more money. And that was a good sign that people have been playing these machines. But I go over to the one next to it. I get my 20 in there. I take one spin. It had a couple winners, but I was down probably just a couple dollars for my 20. I take the second spin, and I totally ended up hitting one of those, like, 4 fours and a 2 or whatever. And I had a full house. I had all these 3 of a kinds. I got like $520 it hit on. It was my second spin. $520. I couldn't believe it. Like, that's for me, who doesn't gamble a lot, and I only play video poker. That was like an awesome win. And it was so pimped to just like walk in there, 2 spins, and walk out with a little extra scratch. Was nice. But the casino itself really took care of the bands when we were there. They gave us all kinds of food credits. Like, I want to tell you guys the name of this place if you're ever in Louisiana. It's the LeBears Casino Resort. It's in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and they totally took care of the band. So we're eating like kings. In fact, like, they had so much money on there that I was able to take Skojo and some of our friends, Kenny. I don't know where Tim was at that moment, but we were able to take these guys out to dinner at the Japanese place or whatever later that night. So that was pretty cool. And all in all, like, just an awesome time. But I got some super chats here, so I want to jump in and show some love to you guys. John Evans, kitty food fun. Any day is a great day for Unleashed. Well, thank you, John. I super appreciate that. My super carrot, Marsha B in the house. Did you watch any of the 4 other bands playing Lake Charles? Kitty Tuna Fund. Man, we're going to have lots of tuna for these kitties. I thank you. And Char the Cat thanks you. And Kylie thanks you too. Yep, got to watch every band play. And when I think I ended up walking out there when Sebastian Bach was on stage, and I did personally film some of that. I had friends filming some of the show for me. I might have to snatch a couple of highlights if I see some people have posted stuff from the show. I might snatch a little, couple seconds there of this band and that band. I kind of want to do a cool thing where I'm watching from my hotel room, but then bam, you're in the crowd like the regular people were. There's that. I'm also considering whether I want to have Skojo, Tim, and I actually having a smoke out, or if I want to make us AI people or not, so it's not so real. So like these, I don't know. I don't want people to judge us that aren't familiar. Oh, well, Spicoli, it's for the weed fund, son. Well, I got cat food. I just put the funds where you guys tell me. If you say kitty food, it goes to kitty food. If you say it goes to the weed fund, then it's gonna have to go to the weed.
I know that, dude.
What are you people? On dope?
Yeah, I got my beer goggles on now.
Gotta do a Roth scream for everybody. Come on. All right, let's keep talking to the peeps here tonight. Lee Ming, 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 Ming. Ming, 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 Ming. I did new favorite face to wife. Too good morning, wife. All right. Yeah, Susan doesn't I probably annoy her more than anything. I can make her laugh sometimes, but I'm just such a weirdo, a goofball, and I'm always joking around. It probably annoys her more than anything. And she has to see all this weird stuff. She'll see me walk in her room with like a freaking werewolf head. Anyways. Tika's 1 is the loneliest number that you ever saw. Yeah, 1. Lee Ming, Scott. What are those, Lee Ming? Are those dinosaurs? Crying dinosaurs? John Evans. Damn it. I'm buffering like a mofo today. I was doing it on another live bit earlier too. Oh well, what can you do? Love your gorgeous weather, lady. Yeah, she's awesome. Siobhan O'Rain in Northern Ireland. She does the weather and the news, and definitely become a favorite part of the Fright Bite for everybody. And you'll be seeing her every week with a new outfit. I can assure you that. Tika's Fright Bite is very unique. B-level streams. Nobody else does that. I watch those B-biker movies. Love those. Hell's Angels on Wheels. Easy Rider rules. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, originally, the Fright Bite was born on the Chris Aiken Presents. If anybody ever watched me on Chris Aiken from the Classic Metal Show, he was doing his own show for a couple of years, and I was his. He's the one who kind of got me into podcasting. Really, he's like, I'm looking for a co-host, man, and you've been on the show a couple times. So the fans like you. Why don't you come be my wingman on this? And it was pretty cool. I got to kind of learn about podcasting and got more comfortable in front of the camera. So definitely owe it to Chris, for getting me into that for sure. And as we were trying to grow his channel, we were looking into like doing stuff for subscribers, and that's when I came up with the Fright Bite. I was like, let's do kind of like a Svengali, Elvira Mystery Science Theater 3000, like watch a movie with our paid subscribers or whatever. And we really didn't have that many paid subscribers, and we couldn't keep this movie up for long. We like watch it live. Chris would keep it up for about 24 hours, and then he would pull it down altogether like it never happened. And we did that for like probably a year and a half or so. And we would watch mostly movies from Tubi that didn't cost us anything to like, stream or what have you. And these movies were terrible. Like I would try to purposely find ones that looked kind of goofy, and because it's a comedy show, you know what I mean? And some of them were so bad that the fans would even get angry about them, Chris would pick them sometimes I would pick them. But we'd had the problem of, this is intellectual property and we can't really show this. And it was having trouble catching on for that reason, I felt. So when Chris had kind of paused the show or what have you, was like, hey man, you should do your own thing. I thought, well, if I'm going to go to YouTube every week, maybe I should bring the Fright Bite to YouTube, not have it be a paid subscriber thing, but give it to everybody and just get more people involved with it. And sure enough, like back in, I think it was September last year, I started doing the Fright Bite, and that's when I met Dahlia. I just happened to meet her online. She was a fan of Rat and had followed me on Instagram and had asked me some kind of technical computer question or something. And when I noticed that she looked so much like you know, well, of course, Elvira type vibe, but Vampira. I was gonna say she looked a lot like Vampira, similar like eyebrows and hair, and I love all that goth aesthetic stuff and music and everything. And since I knew I was gonna need a co-host that was on my mind, I just cast fate to the wind and asked her if she would be interested in doing such a thing. And as it turned out, she had a background in acting. She had been on one of the bigger things she did was she was on an episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I know you guys love that show. It's hilarious. There's I want to say it's season 5, like episode 8. If she's watching, she could chime in and tell me, but it's the Kitten Mittens episode, and she's in that. If you look it up, I think those are on possibly on Netflix or Tubi, the Always Sunnies, but you can check it out there. And she was a pinup model for years. There was another horror movie that she did as well. And then she had a family, she started a family and stuff, and kind of paused her career for a while. And I just happened to catch her at a good time when she was like getting ready to get back out there as Dahlia Dark. And I couldn't have asked her, I guess, at a better time. And it just really worked out. And she has become, I've said this before, but like a sister in comedy. And we have so much fun just coming up with this stuff together. Of course, the missions that we go on, we kind of film ahead of time, and we come up with those ideas just together. We just kind of spitball and go, what about this? What about that? But as far as the show itself, we're totally winging it. Dahlia and the Count don't have like a scripted thing they do. And it's definitely most of the show's live, and anything can happen. And it does. Sometimes things go awesome. Sometimes they go wrong. But the people that come to it have a great time. And we really appreciate all of you that are there. We definitely appreciate everybody that shares it. Like, that's a huge thing because we're totally independent. We're not part of some big movie company. We have nothing to do with Hollywood whatsoever. And I'll tell you, Hollywood's in trouble for the most part, because with independent content creators, people are enjoying watching their favorite people do their own shows. They're tired of all the reboots. They're tired of all the crap on TV. Sure, reality shows do good on TV, but there's a lot of cool people doing their own reality shows on YouTube, and they have a presence on the internet and so forth that people are following. And this is kind of the new entertainment, and Hollywood doesn't even know really how to deal with it. But there's so many choices to watch. And I know that like the Fright Bite just hasn't had somebody big say, this show's great, you guys should watch it. And I don't think it's because it's bad or they think it's bad. I think some people are threatened by the show. They know we go the distance. Dahlia and I, we work so much harder on that podcast than the typical people would for theirs. I mean, I've said before, like these now Wednesday night hangs aren't really a super big deal. They're just fun for me. I just turn on the camera and start talking to you guys. If you have questions for me about my 25 years of playing for stephenpearcy, this is the place to ask me. Any questions about being a professional guitarist that you have, I'd be more than happy to tell you anything you want to know. Yeah, this is the spot. Be here at the live shows, get in that live chat, and I'll read your comments and everything. It's a good time. Let's see here. Steve Lasley, liking the Wednesday hang better than Friday. Well, it's unanimous. I really feel like this was the right thing to do. I'm super stoked that you guys are able to be here tonight. Case of Palumbo, excited to see you in the stephenpearcy show in West Salem, Wisconsin. Awesome. Yeah, that's coming up. We're kind of going over some logistics. Matt had called me today. I think we're going to drive between the two shows, and we're figuring it all out. One thing that I have to do, I have my in-ear monitors in that I use live right now, and Blas Elias told me back when I bought these like 2 years ago, he's like, you need to get this sucker contraption that you basically stick in the earbuds here, and it sucks out any dirt or earwax or whatever. And he totally showed me which one to get. He was very helpful. But at the time, I had just spent like over $2,000 getting these molded for my ears and buying the receiver thing for it. And it was like, man, another thing I have to buy. So I kind of didn't do it. And I don't think Matt did either. But Matt isn't as like earwaxy and sweaty as I get. But anyways, in the last like week or two, my right ear of my inner monitors has stopped working. And I think it's because it's got like stuff that's just way down in there. So I finally ordered, it's like $100 for this little machine. And it's got like a sucker thing in there that sucks all that stuff out. And I'm hoping that kind of fixes it. Cause right now I'm only hearing everything out of my left ear. And that's kind of annoying. I know, Joel was saying he was having some goofy stuff happen on stage too, for him at that, LeBear's show. I think the amp went out and he had a pedal board, that went out. And that's definitely frustrating as a musician on stage when your stuff goes out. Some of these shows where the equipment's sitting in the sun like that and it's super hot, that happens. Like when you're playing out of real amps and they're sitting there turned on and it's like over 100 degrees outside and the direct sun's like baking on there. That happened to me on Monsters of Rock cruise. They didn't have any covering for the bands on the deck, and I think a couple songs in, my amp just turned off. Luckily, they shut it down and turned it back on, and it did go back on. But I've experienced that before. I actually learned from that experience, and for this show, even when we were at sound check at like 7 a.m, the sun was just cranking on the stage. When I wasn't using my pedal board, actually, I just took a shirt I had and put it like over the pedal board just so the sun wouldn't be hitting it, because it will screw your gear up. Let's see here. Kenny Hell. Hey, Eric, it's Kenny. That was with Scott and Tim over the weekend. What's happening, Kenny? Glad you could be here, man. Kenny was a big help at this thing. These guys came out to the show. They were there Saturday night to hang out, and then the show was Sunday. And they found out that sound check was at 6 a.m. But all three of those guys, Tim, Scott, and Kenny, totally showed up to my room at 6 a.m. or maybe even earlier, and helped me take my stuff to the stage. And I totally appreciated it. And then Kenny, because he's like, doesn't like to just sit around doing nothing, he was like helping getting Jimmy's drums set up and stuff like that. So they were a huge help. But you'll definitely be seeing these guys in the vlog. Jeff Allen, West Salem, Wisconsin. Are you going to that, Jeff? Let me know. Jim Martinez in the house. I was watching some video. I saw that the sound guys did not pay attention on Wanted Man, and Steven had to let them know. I watched you take over on Tough. Sound went out. Yeah, I didn't realize that because, again, my ears were not working right. So apparently, yeah, during that song, that was when Joel's thing came out. We had Slaughter's guy doing sound. We didn't have the dude Brian that did sound for us at these last shows, who was amazing. And that kind of sucked. We had to just, I don't, he might have been doing it as a favor for us, the guy that works for Slaughter. So they maybe weren't going to be able to do quite as good of a job as if we had our own guy there. But you know what? The people had a great time, and whatever, next for me, it was a fun weekend. Stuff happens, but these next shows are going to be awesome. And it sounds like a lot of you guys are going to be there. Cemetery Gates, puff pass to you from San Antonio, brother Eric. Yeah, puff pass. Good stuff. Let me see here.
Let's have us a champagne jam.
Good champagne jam, didn't I? Yeah, Russell Lendes. Eric is so lit. Yeah, I try to be. Okay. God, what did I just push here? No, I didn't want to do that. Okay, T-Cuss. Hey, Eric, have you ever plugged into a Jose modded Marshall just for fun? Yeah, he was one of the better guys they had modding out that worked for Marshall, right? If I'm not mistaken. I might have at some point. It's been a while. I haven't recently. Joe, you from New York? I was born in New Jersey, pretty close to New York. I know that Count Cracula has like a Transylvanian accent, but he also spent time on the East Coast himself. So he has kind of a mix of almost like a Romanian accent with a New York accent. So that's maybe where you're also hearing that. But me personally, I've been living in California here for 43 years. So almost 44 years. So I definitely typically sound like a California guy or like a Valley guy or something when I'm talking. Tika's, hey, Eric. Oh, no, you already asked me that. Okay. Let me see. Oh, Nikki, I'm missing some. Nikki had a blast with you and Steven last weekend at Rhythm City Casino Show. Yeah, that's right. Nikki is a friend of mine on Facebook, and she was totally there, front row. At some point, I got to go and shake your hand, and that was that. I had to do it. You know, you're such a cool supporter of me and Steven, and it means a lot to us, everybody. In fact, that's Team Piercy. We thank you from the bottoms of our hearts. And you guys, I'm so excited about the new Stephen Piercy record. Stephen is blowing my mind on some of these songs, and Matt Thorne. You know, as you know, when it comes to the most of the compositions for the songs, I come up with those, and I've been sitting on some of these songs for like 6 years. Ever since View to a Thrill, I started working right away. And I guess I always knew that these were going to be cool someday, but it's a bummer that they sat for so long. However, I'm happy that finally it's coming around and these songs are going to see the light of day. This one, in fact, it's called On the Edge. And I always knew the song was going to be good, but Steven's definitely picking this as a single. It's almost like a mix of like Arcade meets Rat kind of sounding song, but it's so kick-ass. And I believe Will Hunt's playing drums on it, and the song's killer. And Steven did like such an amazing job with Matt on the vocals and everything. It's going to blow your mind. I know we're going to do a video for it. And there's other songs on there too. This one song, Ethereon, which is like a word I made up. It was like my idea of like a peaceful planet somewhere that didn't have any hate or bad things happening on it, that was just full nature or whatever. That was my initial like vision for a song, and that title, Ethereon. But I don't know if that necessarily matches up with what Steven went for lyrically, but the song itself is amazing. And he wrote some great songs too that are just total raw rock songs that are killer. All these songs are just finally coming together. I think we only have 3 left to finish. But I'm just so proud of Piercy. You know what I mean? The guy's going to be 70 years old, and he sounds better right now than he has in decades, really. I mean, I would say since Infestation record, he sounded pretty good singing that. It's that good. You know, he's like Benjamin Buttons when he gets in the studio. What can I say? But mark my words, you're going to be thoroughly impressed and stoked with this new Stephen Piercy record. When's it coming out? We're going to try to get it out by August, I believe. So anyways, good stuff. And I guess that would kind of cover the Spicoli's question here. Anyone cool stop by the studio, dude? Yeah, you know, we've had a couple different players. Joel plays on one of the songs. Joel played some lead guitar stuff, so even Joel got in on this record. Let me see, who else did he have? You know, we had a couple different drummers. Jimmy Deanda plays on a song. You know, Will Hunt played on a couple of the tunes. Blas Elias is doing a killer job on probably plays the majority of drums on the record. And these guys are just so pro, all of them, really. You know, their ability to go do tracks and get them to Matt, and it's just coming together. And it's like what seemed like, wow, we got a lot of work to do for this, is finally nearing the end. Like Steven's doing 13 songs for this. That's a lot of work. But when it comes to this stuff, that's really, I feel personally, like my strength. Like, of course, you have to be able to play pretty good just to get invited to the party at all, right? But like, what differentiates me from like most of the other guitar players it's definitely not my ability to over solo. I mean, everybody knows I'm kind of like a rock guy. I mean, I could do some shredding here and there, but I'm not like one of those soloist guys that's like constantly going on YouTube every day playing some crazy thing on guitar like that. That's not where my talents lie. I'm more the composition guy. And what was super cool is the other day I was watching Al Demolia. I'm probably saying his name wrong, but it was like a kind of TikTok video where he was talking about what kind of people you're going to get at your shows depending on what you're doing musically. And he's like, the guys that play like the crazy solos, the GIT guys and all that, they just get a bunch of dudes at their show. You know what I mean? It's just like you're making music for guitar players. And the reality is most people love songs, and especially women. They love songs, they like lyrics, they like the singer, they like the vibe of the music and everything. And that's what I do. Okay. So what's weird is I don't think I'm super talented for being able to do that or anything. However, I noticed a lot of these guys can't do it. Like they could shred all day long, but when it comes to like writing a song, they'll come up with something stupidly generic, or like they're just not, it's just not good. It's like God didn't give them everything. They go, okay, I'm going to give you the shreddy shred, and I'm going to give the composition song vibe guy to this, and you guys got to figure it out. You got to work together to make something awesome. And I like that. It's just weird how the universe works like that. But I've been playing guitar for so long. It's not that I can't play some good solo stuff, but I just don't like to sit there and play for like 5 hours a day. I'm doing so much stuff. When it comes time for a show, like a couple days before, I'll start to practice and get my chops up. But when you've been playing for like 35, 40 years, it comes back to you pretty quick. But to be able to be at a level where you're playing all those sweep picking arpeggios, those guys do that stuff for like 5-6 hours a day. I'm writing music, you know. It's like I'm working on songs, I'm working on drums, bass, guitar, you know, texturing stuff, and I end up with like a 3.5 minute song. I give it to Steven and hope that he remembers that I gave it to him. You know, when it came time to do this record, we had like 40 songs for this in the last 6 years that were written mostly by me. He had about 4 of them that are cool, by the way. I love Steven's kind of punk rock guitar playing, and there's some cool songs. He just kind of put one out a few weeks ago as like a teaser. I Need You, I think. But he has a couple of these other ones that are really rocking. They sound like Rat songs off the EP or something, or like some kind of Aerosmith GNR kind of rough songs, or Alice Cooper or something. They're like super cool. And then the songs that I have for him are they're like definitely have the 80s rock vibe of the West Coast guitar guys and stuff. But it also has a little bit of a modern twist to it. And Steven's been listening to a lot of that kind of stuff. You know, he listens to the Octane on XM and stuff like that. So he's kind of like, what I love about it, he's modernized with like his delivery on verses and stuff. Because you know how like all things, it's not like he's rapping or anything, but you know how like the cadences of singing has kind of like changed over the years, kind of from rapping and stuff. Now bands kind of just have a way they scat over certain things. I just love how he's picked up on that. You know what I mean? So these songs are like just super cool how he's singing them and everything. It doesn't sound like some outdated BS. And it seems like a lot of these legacy bands don't really put out the greatest stuff. You know what I mean? The last band I remember like kind of trying to put something out that could compete was probably Motley or something. Remember they did like Saints of Los Angeles was their big one of their big comeback songs that was pretty good. You know, they had some pretty rockin' jams that they did their comebacks with, but most of them it's kind of you know, they're just kind of pooping them out for a small amount of money because obviously people aren't really buying records anymore, so they don't have a reason to really invest in it like they're making Pink Floyd The Wall or something. They just kind of throw it out there, you know, just as something to maybe talk about for a minute. But Steven's taken this one really seriously. He wants it to be really awesome. He's getting the track listing together. I know he wants to get it mastered. He wants to pay to get it really mastered well. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with the reception to this. But I think people are going to really freak out on it. Li Ming, if you didn't love playing rock music, what career would you have seen yourself in? Well, to be honest, I loved computers and stuff like that. I think I would have loved being a programmer, a computer programmer. To show my age, when I was a kid, I'm 53. We were on the DOS system of, at the time with computers. So, but I love that. Like, I remember even my dad would show me how to, write some DOS code. And then I took computers in junior high and I totally got A's in it. And I loved doing all that. I thought it was the coolest thing to be typing in these codes. I think if I didn't get into music, I totally probably would have went that route and probably been very wealthy by now, because my generation really cleaned up with that stuff. If you got into computers and were there at the forefront, you had yourself a pretty awesome career. At this point, it's starting to take a dip because now AI is handling some of this stuff. So it's not as easy to be successful at such things. And we've also like outsourced a lot of these types of jobs out of the country and everything. So anyways, I do still have a skill, which is, playing guitar and music. And I'm not really as worried about AI replacing me and us and what have you. It's being a rock guitarist is a hands-on skill. It's not something a robot's going to go show up to your town and go play. And when it comes to the AI music out there, honestly, I could tell it's AI. I don't think it's good. I mean, I've heard some good mashups where like they've done an old-timey version of a rock song or what have you. I've certainly heard AI take music that's already been written by humans and do a different take on it and stuff. I'm not going to deny that I've heard interesting concepts there. But as far as the future is concerned, anybody that's going to be using AI to create music isn't going to be able to monetize it that easily. They're going to have to really change it up or something, because they're going to be able to detect such things. And the company that you took those stems from or had the thing spit out a song from, it's going to know that you did that, and it's going to chart. You're going to have to pay like a subscription to even have access to that stuff. And they're close to getting it now. I mean, I get hit with stuff just from having used maybe sound effects inside of iMovie or something, and I put a video up and I get hit for some sound I used or some little blip of something. They're only going to get better at identifying that sort of thing, and you're not going to be able to make the money that you will if you actually came up with that stuff on your own. I knew there was going to be some rug pull with that eventually, but the one bummer part about AI and music is that it's just flooding Spotify specifically. Even though I would never personally pay for Spotify, I've always believed like if you could prove that you had a record out nationally, I think Spotify should give you a free subscription for the rest of your life. If you contributed to the Spotify library, you should automatically get a free subscription. I mean, to me, that would make sense, right? But no, they want to make all this money off us and pay us, fractions of a penny for all these plays and everything. So no, I would never give Spotify my money. I'm definitely protest Spotify. I forgot where I was even going with all this. Oh yeah. So, but anyway, Spotify, they have so much AI music clogging up Spotify that it's hard for you to even be heard anymore. The other defense against AI is just us as people. I mean, just kind of like what's happening right now, like me connecting with you guys in real time, getting to know you personally, you guys getting to know my sense of humor, my struggles, this and that. It draws, it creates a bigger connection between us, and you actually are going to want to hear my music, and you are going to want to come see me. Of course, Steven is the real reason, right? Rat. Most people here tonight are Rat fans, and of course you're there to see Rat. But as we become friends, I know that's even more reason to come out to the show and say hi and get to meet me, and let's take a photo or whatever. Just go, yeah, it's so cool that we get to hang at these virtual parties, but we got to see each other in real life and feel that music in person, because we've gotten kind of complacent with like listening to watching YouTube clips of bands playing. It always is not going to sound well, let me put it this way. It's never going to sound as good as when you're at the show and you're getting hit with those sound waves going through your bloodstream and changing your whole outlook and feel and just your emotional state. It really can be uplifting to be around. And of course, just the sights and smells and the excitement of unlocking the memories of hearing these hit songs that you grew up with, and it takes you back. And you got to go, man. You got to go now while these bands are here. Alice Cooper's showing that these guys could do it till they're 80. I hope Steven does this till he's 80. He always, says he's not, but I don't know what else he would do, honestly. And for his age, I think Steven is in great shape, and I think he's singing really great. I mean, my grandpa lived to like 72, and man, he didn't look like Steven. He looked like a Frankenstein. He was just like, he had huge scars all over where they took a lung out, and he had like 10 heart attacks. He had no teeth. He had no hair. He had he just looked beat, man. He was just like he it was amazing he made it to 72. He was a guy that smoked 5 packs a day his whole life, and he had lung cancer and all this stuff. He ended up dying in his sleep, which was nice. That's probably how I would want to go too. Go to bed one night and just not wake up. That's better than how my grandmother died of cancer, her husband, his wife. And of course, recently my stepdad died of like turbo cancer, throat cancer. And that's an awful way to go. Die in your sleep's a good way to go. But I'm just trying to make a comparison that when people like make any remarks about somebody's age or something like that, it's like, dude, Steven looks awesome. He's still putting on the leather pants and the shades, and you could still see that it's the guy that he was back in 1985. You can see, yeah, okay, that's him for sure. You recognize him. It's not like some of these artists that age didn't work out so well for them. Honestly, I noticed it more with 90s bands that look totally old. The 90s bands to me look older than the 80s bands. I don't know if that's because they were less vain about their looks than the 80s guys were. But it's interesting. I'm sure you agree with me. Like most of us, our grandparents that are in their 70s don't look like Steven. So definitely he's just awesome, man. He's still an awesome front man. And I can't believe that I still get to go out and do this with him. And he has exciting things coming your way soon. I mean, I get texts from him. I got one from him today. I don't want to give his news for him, but it was another artist that we love going out and doing shows, kind of like another Voices of Metal thing. If you remember 25 years ago, he was doing that with Vince and all these other singers from famous bands. And I think he's looking to do something like that again. Anywho, let me get back up in it. Bobby, what's happening, dude? Easy E, what is up? Yep, just doing the Hump Day Unleashed with you guys for the first time, and it's definitely so far so good. Spicoli wants to smoke with us, Rockstar. Man, I gotta Susan, if she catches a whiff of anything like that, boom, she will kick me right on out of here. No joke. I cannot play around. It is a zero tolerance. I have to actually like go out to the beach in order to successfully toke. But believe me, I will be doing that right after the show. But I do encourage you guys to do it. It's funnier when you do. The show's better. Spicoli wants us to know that he is so wasted.
What are you people? On dope?
Yeah, Johnny Ponder. I'm stoked to meet Joel in Rattlenburg, Tennessee. He seems cool as F. Yeah, no, is this the Monsters of the You're talking about Gatlinburg. That's not where you're going to meet Joel. Now, there is a couple of Piercy DeMartini shows left, and one of them is Monsters on the Mountain. And Joel and I will not be at that. That will be Warren DeMartini and, of course, Carlos Cavazzo. And this will be one of the last times to check these guys out for a bit. So definitely, if you can make it to Monsters of the Mountain, that's a special event. But Stephen is continuing on. As you know, he is an owner of the Rat name, and he's going to be moving forward. I think he plans to use the Rat name. But as far as right now, he's Rat Stephen Pearcy's Rat. Basically, like when you see us play, you see the big Rat logo up there and Stephen Pearcy above it. But it's been a long time coming. I mean, I think you guys got to remember that like 20 years ago, Bobby and Warren fired Stephen, like 2003 or something like that. And as far as their WBS corporation, they took out the S. Stephen created the band Rat. I mean, he hired all those guys, and it was Mickey Rat before that. Matt was originally a member of the band way back then before Juan. Stephen, when he was putting Rat together, he of course got the hottest guys to play in the band once he got up to Hollywood or whatever, but he created all of that. So it was super sad when he got fired from that. And then for 20 years, those guys would just keep him on as like a hired guy. And, you know, truth be told, it wasn't working out in Stephen's favor for as hard as he was working to get along with those guys and play those shows. You know, if I recall, he was coming out of it with probably less than I come out of a solo show with today, you know, when he deserves so much more. And it's cool that he finally did take back control of that. He deserves it. It was something that needed to happen before he leaves us. You know what I mean? And so as far as that goes, from anything past that is business. This is a music business. And you know what? With that, it's not my business, it's Stephen's business. And whatever business Stephen has between Warren, that's their deal. You know what I mean? Me personally, I've played with Warren before. I've met him a couple times. I first met him when I was probably like 19 years old. He's always been cordial to me. There's nothing going on there, you know, negative. I tip my hat to him. I mean, his work in Rat in that decade was phenomenal, and I get a big pleasure out of watching the live YouTubes of Rat from 1985 and stuff like that. He blows my mind, and I thank him, you know, for everything he put into the band. And it's been cool that I've gotten a opportunity to see what it's like to play these hit songs from our youth with Stephen. I truly was blessed. Like I wasn't blessed monetarily speaking, but just as far as what's important, which is the journey in life, I really scored. Like I typically feel that whatever happens to me, it was good. Kind of like Robin Crosby, you know, before he died, he was like, "Hey man, I lived the life of 10 men. I'm good." You know, he didn't have the regrets that I see a lot of people that are like, "Man, I didn't live my life. I was serving all these other people all the time, and I wasn't where I wanted to be doing what I dreamed of." And, you know, I hung in there and I never gave up. And I finally got to this point where I'm like, not only playing with Steven, but then playing with these other like world-class musicians like Blas Elias and Joel. These guys are playing like the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. That's the highest point you can get. Not that I'm in there in the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, you know, but I'm just saying that I get to play with these guys that are at that level, and that they're like, yeah, he's in our band, Erik's with us, you know, whatever. It's just like I said, when we pulled in, you know, Lake Charles and all these bands that I used to go pay to buy tickets at Ticketmaster to go see at these arena shows back in the late 80s and stuff. And here we all are getting our luggage and stuff to go play this gig together. It's something else, man. It's not lost on me. You know what I mean? I almost feel like this is a simulation we're living in, because it's just too crazy. You know, like if you told me that back then when I was buying tickets to go see Skid Row open for Bon Jovi, you know what I mean? Back in the day, that, you know, I'd be on the bill, Sebastian be opening for the band I'm in and stuff. That's ludicrous. You know what I mean? I actually, Sebastian was a guy I never knew, really what he thought of me. I did get to play for him one night years back. There was a private event that was going on in, I think it was, I want to say Wisconsin, maybe. But it was a wealthy person that was putting on like a big event and had singers like Dee Snider, Steven, Lita Ford, Mike Score from Flock of Seagulls. They were supposed to, Corey Hart that did the Sunglasses at Night song was supposed to be there. They had a backing band that was going to play for everybody, but Steven always wants to take one of his guys for that. He wants to make sure he's got one guy that knows how to do the backup vocals, and's going to play the rat riffs correctly or whatever, or closer, right? So he was always cool like that. He would always goes, nope, if I'm doing it, Erik's coming with me. And so I got to go to this thing, kind of like the story earlier with the VH1 thing. Like that was another time he took me and Frankie, and he didn't have to, but he did. Anyways, with oh shit, what was I just talking about? Damn it, can't believe I'm brain farting right now. I was talking about Steven and me. He took me to play. Holy shit, this is my worst brain fart ever. It'll come back to me. Cocaine is a hell of a drug, Cemetery Gate said. Yeah, I'm not on cocaine, I'm just forgetting. It'll come back to me in a second. Oh yeah, no, I was playing for this private event. I'm so sorry. I'm back. Anyways, I had said to the guy, he goes, the backing band's going to do their best to play for these guys. I was advancing the show for Steven or whatever. I was kind of tour managing back then. And I go, well, hey, if you want me to play, I'll learn those other songs. And the promoter guy's like, really? Or the guy was putting on the event. He goes, you do that? And I go, yeah. I'd be a dream come true. I'll have to learn these Skid Row songs. I'll have to learn the Twisted Sister and the Lita Ford stuff and the Flock of Seagull stuff. That sounds like an amazing opportunity. And I figured the guy would throw me probably a little more money too. But I got out there and the band really was like struggling to get the stuff. So it was kind of like a bittersweet situation playing with all these guys. And I remember meeting Sebastian. He was a little cranky, that day. Because all the singers had to do a sound check with the band to make sure everything was going to be okay with the songs they were doing. And then that night when I went to play with him, I was talking to him and he didn't seem like he was interested in talking to me. I met him a couple of times since and didn't really say too much except like, and I don't know. I just kind of felt like he didn't really care about me or whatever. But at this thing, when we're leaving, here's where I'm going with this. The next morning after this Lake Charles show, we're back at this small airport, right? Lake Charles Airport to fly home. Very, very small airport. It's like everything's just in this one area and they have just one little bar and gift shop kind of thing. And I walk in there, he's in there with his band and I think they were drinking, actually. It was early, but he saw me, he's like, dude, and he just like totally gives me a big old like high five and it's holding on to my hand and stuff, so I mean, I had it all wrong in my head. I mean, obviously he's totally fine with me and cool with me. And he's a huge Rat fan. If you know Sebastian, he loves Steven, always has, and Rat. So, I mean, that was kind of cool. Again, it was just like a nice weekend in that capacity, just like hanging with all these rock stars for my childhood and stuff. And to get paid to do it and win some money on the slot machine. I'd say it was a good weekend. So, I'm super stoked for you guys to see the road vlog. It's going to be coming out tomorrow. I'm going to finish it up tonight and tomorrow, and then I'll get it out by the afternoon. Because, man, Louisiana is like a sauna right now. It rains at least every other day. It was. I mean, I'm a California boy, and for an outside gig, that was a lot. And it's also like hard to like look good while you're playing out there because you really feel like you're going to pass out, and you're sweating like a mofo. Woo! Past the wheat thins. Wow, I like wheat thins. Spicoli, sounds like some fuckery was happening, dude. Maybe, it's possible. But as I said, it's hard to mix a band. If you're not the usual sound guy, it's not going to be mixed perfectly. They just try to get the meat and potatoes right. Or do I hear drums? Do I hear a guitar? Do I hear vocals? And then that's all you get. Lee Ming, paging Dr. Ming, emergency. That's right. No shades tonight, dude. Nah, no shades tonight. I know I wore them in the thumbnail for tonight. I actually like went in post-production and blacked those out because you could see the beach in them and you could see my hand taking the picture. So I just kind of took them out. But let me see. Yeah, Stoney Jackson, right on. Cha-ching. I know you're talking about my win. That was crazy. I mean, one thing that's good is I got the hell out of there after that win. I think on that poker game, I did one more spin after I won the money just because you're kind of obligated to do so. If you just had a big win like that, you got to do at least one more, right? The next spin, nothing. All 10 hands hit nothing. I go, okay, that's it. And I just cashed out and got out of there. Whoo. Cemetery Gates. The Bears or whatever spelling is of it is a rad venue. Yeah, I don't know if they have an indoor thing, but the way they had it set up outside was pretty cool. And it was a nice view. You guys will see what we're talking about. As I said, this road vlog will be out by tomorrow afternoon. I'm hoping to have it out by about, I don't know, 3:00 in the afternoon, maybe Pacific time. Spicoli lives in Las Vegas, dude. That's cool. I mean, we always end up playing Vegas at some point. Cemetery Gates just pulled in a strain called Velvet Coma and would smoke again times 111%. That's cool. I mean, yeah, you guys get some different strains out and about. I mean, I take notes. I'm like, okay, Velvet Coma. That sounds like definitely an indica. Anything with the word coma in it, right, is probably not a sativa. Am I correct? Okay, moving on. Johnny Ponder, what's up, brother? I played WSOP game. I'm going to have to come see the solo band. I've seen Rat 2 times, Piercy DiMartini once. Going to see them again in August. Very cool. Yeah, if we're playing anywhere, definitely come check it out. It's going to be awesome. We got Blas Elias will be back. The next show we're doing is Gary, Indiana on the 12th at the Hard Rock Cafe. There should be cool. But the big news is this Friday, everybody that's in the Southern California area, I will be playing in Pomona this Friday with the project. If you're on my Facebook, of course, I always use that Death of Me song in my thumbnails that I share for the show. You've probably seen the video I did with them. Also did a video for Hope and a video for a song called Best Days that you can check out on their YouTube and everything. But for the project, I think this is only our second live show that we've ever played, but it's going to be at the Lemon Fest, which is Pomona. It's the Pomona Lemon Fest. So if you can get to this, it's going to be 6:30 p.m. We're going to be on the big stage. I played the Lemon Fest last year with Pump 5, and we were on a parking lot, side stage. So we're happy that that this show will be on the big stage. But if you can make it, please come out and support the project. We had some rehearsals last week for it. We're going to meet up at Dennis's place and then caravan over there. And I'd like to meet you guys. So anybody that can make it over to the Lemon Fest this Friday, the project, 6:30 p.m. Be there or be square. We got the Metal Interview Podcast shout out from Texas. Yeah. So I guess that would be your YouTube channel. Guys, head over to that Metal Interview Podcast and give a follow to these guys, these Texans, and give a like to their videos. I do try to promote, anybody who's in here. If you have a YouTube channel and you're a regular here, I always try to promote you and spread the love. Willie Wayne, Fright Bite is cool and funny. Well, awesome. I'm glad you think so. We're getting better at it, and it's getting a little easier to do. I think I was a little overwhelmed with it at first, doing all the video production and everything, and just getting the monster teeth in was like a whole thing. But I've just kind of, after doing it for so many weeks, I think we've done about 22 episodes of the Fright Bite, if I'm not mistaken. and it's just coming a little easier, and it's kind of getting its themes, its reoccurring themes and inside jokes and stuff that it's just writing itself in a lot of ways. But I'm super stoked that you're enjoying it, and I know Dahlia is too. San Antonio area here, bro. Cemetery Gates. That's right. We'll get back out to San Antonio. Johnny Ponder. I bought a vintage Circus, Hit Parader, and Rock Fever with Steven on the cover recently. Can't wait to meet him again. Yeah, Steven's totally cool with the meet and greets. And it's definitely worth it to go to those and have him sign some of your stuff. She is so cool. Yeah, I'm very lucky to have a pretty princess like Dahlia Dark that's willing to be on the Fright Bite every week. It's like, I mean, she's a sister, but it's almost like a trophy wife, right? I mean, it's like Beauty and the Beast. But she definitely has a really quickly growing fan base of her for her, and I'm just lucky to have somebody to do the show with, because I mean, if it was just me, I don't know how long it would go. Spicoli, love that It's Always Sunny show, dude. That's awesome. Did you let me see, what is this? Oh, never mind. Not now. I thought he was sending me a flyer. Anyways, did you see the episode with Dahlia Spicoli? It's I think it's called Kitten Mittens. It's like season 5, episode 7. It's pretty cool. All right. Nikki's saying that's what makes it fun. I'm not sure what she was alluding to, but I'm sure she had fun. I know she had fun. Li Ming, okay, I read that one already. Okay. Let me go down here and see what we got. Okay, Roadhog. Ever since Robin passed, I never want to hear another Rat record, but I do look forward to Piercy records. Oh, that's nice. Rat died when Robin died. Yeah, definitely the band changed big time. Like Detonator was, by the time that happened, you could tell Robin's influence wasn't there quite as much, and the sound was more Warren's focus. The earlier Robin stuff was, I feel like, more early heavy metal, 80s heavy metal sound, Scorpions, type guitar, Shanker, type guitar playing and stuff. And all bands back then had to grow, and it had been a decade, they couldn't just continue doing the same exact sound. I mean, I think it's cool how they experimented, and by Reach for the Sky, they were doing Way Cool Jr. and kind of stepping out of their regular zone to try some different stuff. But then by Detonator, they were bringing in like other Diane Warren and these songwriters and stuff to try to get them the new ballad hit and this and that. And it just wasn't the same, raw Rat that we loved in 84 and 85. But it's still, everything they did was awesome, and all their records went platinum. And not a lot of people can say that for their bands, but I have no doubt you're not going to be disappointed with this new Piercy record. Rhythm is very important, Willie Wayne said. Yeah, it really is. I mean, if you look at all the top selling records, rock records or pop records or whatever, you're not going to hear that kind of guitar playing that people feel makes you a good guitar player. Like as far as like the Yngwie Malmsteen crazy stuff, or like the people that do the sweep picking arpeggios, you don't hear any of that on records on the radio and stuff. The only band that I heard kind of do that would be like maybe Avenged Sevenfold was kind of popular for a minute, and those guys were GIT guys, but they did it in a tasteful way. I mean, I like their band. They almost had like a Deep Purple sounding singer, and I was a fan of Avenged Sevenfold, and like they probably sold the most records for a band like that. I mean, Iron Maiden was a huge band, but they didn't go too nuts with their, like most guitar players could probably play the Iron Maiden solos for the most part. They weren't too crazy. I'd put myself more in like around that level, I guess, of playing, but I never wanted to do the like to my ears. It just, I loved guitar players like Neil Schon from Journey, and of course I liked all the West Coast guys too, Warren and Jake and stuff, but I just didn't feel a need to overplay like that. And especially since I was 18 in 1990, a lot of my youth, as far as that decade, guitar solos were illegal. And you had bands like, obviously, all the Seattle bands, Nirvana, but even like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden, which are two killer bands, didn't have too much crazy stuff going on in the guitar department. And I thought that was cool because as I was like marching forth into music, that's really what I wanted to do. When I dreamt of what I wanted my contribution to be in the future, it was I wanted to be in a band that people liked, that had records that they loved listening to. That was like what I prayed for. You know what I mean? I wasn't like, God, give me the ability to play the craziest amount of notes possible so I can impress the other guitar players with them. Like, I don't really care. There's a small group of people that will throw shade at me over the years, and probably more recently since we've had the drama with those other jabronis. They have their little clique of people that like to go out and throw shade at me, but it really, I know where I've been and I know what my contributions are, mostly the stephenpearcy records. But I'm kind of snickering to myself because when people hear this new record, they're going to be like, holy shit, dude, we didn't know you had that in you. So you'll see. I'm not out really defending myself right now in public against these attacks because I already won. You know what I mean? I'm the guy who's actually out there that's still working and has a gig, and those other guys aren't. Their lives are just so. If you see something bad out there about me or Joel, I guarantee you it's one of those guys, this little pedo posse. Anywho, Willie Wayne, very sad when Robin died. And dude, that was a very sad time. I was in the, Steven's band. The lawsuit with Rat was going on. And then, Steven's health wasn't great. And then Robin died. It was just, I think that was 2003. Not a good year at all. Woo, Willie Wayne. Crew Fest was very good. Was that Crew Fest? Was that in Hollywood or was that in San Antonio? I can't remember. Nikki can't wait to hear it all. Yeah, you're going to be blown away. Lee Ming's got the cookies and Lee Ming's got the milk. That's right. Willie Wayne's got the cookies and a donut. Lee Ming. Donuts make Lee Ming happy and crazy. That's right. All right, let me take a sip here. I'm motor mouthing. As a podcaster, you dread any silence because I'll stick a commercial in right there. Anyways, Tika's songs is where it's at from a timelessness perspective. Legendary riffs are simple. Smoke on the Water, Iron Man, Cat Scratch Fever. Can't you hear me knocking? Yeah, that's right. No, that's totally where I'm at, man. It's the riffs. It's like, what? Let me hear your riffs. I mean, I feel like when it comes to the solo stuff, like all those guys are just playing the same stuff that they've been shown by the other guys, and they dedicate their life to finally getting it, thinking that all I have to do is learn this super complex solo and I'll have made it. Well, you're not going to make it. It's the sad truth. Like, they're probably not going to pick you, dude. They're probably not going to pick you to be in their band because you're going to overplay and you're probably arrogant and weird. And I don't know. It just seems like those guys don't get the gig. They're like the drummer at the wrong gig, who I knew was actually a really nice guy, by the way. Have you ever seen the YouTube? His name's Steve, but he did the ZZ Top song where he's like kind of rocking out too hard at the on the drums at the wedding. They're like playing a wedding or something. I want to say, I'm forgetting his last name right now, but his name's Steve, I believe. But super nice guy. He's actually is a great drummer, but he had a viral video and he never made any money off that either, which sucks. But I kind of feel like, guitar player at the wrong gig or whatever. You're just trying too hard, man. I mean, for me, I'm from the school, like, if you can't hum the solo, it's probably not that great. It's not going to be memorable. And that's a problem that these GIT guys have. I almost went to GIT. I wanted to go. I begged my parents to go, but when they looked at how much it costed, it was like a good amount of money to complete the whole, whatever it is, 2 or 3 year thing. It was going to be expensive back then. And they were just like, no, we're not paying for that. If you want to do it, you could pay for it. And I was only making like $4 an hour minimum wage when I was 15 or 16. That wasn't going to cover tuition there at that school. But I think it was for the better that I didn't, because, one thing I even heard Paul Gilbert, who was a teacher from there, talking about this, that the way they would teach kids to play, they would have this linear way of taking some kind of movement and just moving it all over the fretboard. And it was really great. I'm paraphrasing him on this, but he said it was a really great way of showing your way around the fretboard and getting to know all the modes and keys or whatever. But it had a downside, which is that you can't help yourself when you start trying to play a lead, that you will just do this. It all just starts sounding the same. It's just a whole shit ton of notes, and it just starts to sound the same after a while. And even though Paul Gilbert's responsible for making a lot of guitar players do that through teaching them, he also has gotten away from such things. And he seems like a really good dude, Paul Gilbert, and he's definitely contributed so much to guitarists out there and aspiring musicians, and just having been a teacher, he deserves the love and respect that all great teachers get. Plus his contributions, just as far as with Mr. Big and stuff like that. I mean, his biggest hit is when he finally chilled the F down and did a ballad, right, for Mr. Big. And also a Green Tinted 60s Light was a great song where he kind of mellowed out and really worked on the song aspect of it. And they had two slamming hits from that. You know what I mean? They had other stuff too, like Addicted to That Rush was pretty good. I mean, I'd say Paul understands that it could be a problem to overplay, and he'll kind of keep himself from doing that. And I've seen him do a lot of demonstrations where he's trying more blues stuff, or not just trying to wank off the entire time. And he's the one saying these things now, that, hey, it's kind of a problem when these guys overplay that go to that school or whatever. And you're not going to have that problem with me. I'm definitely not going to probably be overplaying, but I am really proud of some of these riffs I have on the record, because it's no small feat to like come up with something that has a vibe of the 80s, but with a modern kind of feel to it. It's not easy to do after all these years. Rat's 40 years old. There's been a lot of bands that have come out since then trying to write riffs like that, trying to do this kind of thing. So it's like it's not easy, but I'm just happy that you're gonna hear some of the stuff where you go, wow, he found some riffs that weren't done yet, that are his, that aren't AI. Nikki's saying best drug ever, live music. It's true. You're not going to feel it watching it on YouTube. You have to be there. The sound waves interact with your molecular makeup, and rad. It's its own thing. Tika, Steven is a total lifer. Mad respect for that. We're all so lucky he's still at it and loving it. Totally. I mean, for any of us, even people half his age, tomorrow's not promised to you. But I have this feeling that this is just what we do. It's been our life, and why would we completely stop doing it? I mean, we certainly want to work smarter and not harder. We want things to be as smooth as possible. But right now, I feel like we finally, have a team that's like got each other's backs. We have a great tour manager now, David, who's worked with Lady Gaga and huge. I mean, Steven's probably one of the, I don't want to say lesser artists, but I mean, he's worked with some really big people. And for him to come in and tour manage the Piercy band was a real godsend. And every show I do, I end up liking him like more and more. And he's like, I love how he looks out for everybody in the band equally. And he's just made this as smooth as possible. And whenever there's been an issue, he's been like right on top of it to handle it. And I feel like the guys in the band are that way too, where we want to make sure everybody's got everything they need. You're looking out for the other guy. You're not trying to stab the other guy in the back shit talk them and do all these things that were just blowing my mind that we were dealing with. So it's been like we can breathe now, the dark clouds out of there, and we can move forward, and go out on a high note, right? I thought Joel was playing solo in Gatling. Oh, maybe he is, dude. I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I didn't know. I apologize. Yeah, he might be there doing something solo. So I hope he is, and I hope you get to check him out. He's doing something in San Diego coming up too with some of the other Guitar Hero guys. I might go check out. Eternal Servant. Hello, hello. I haven't seen you around. June 6th will be Robin's 24th year since he passed away. Time Slips Away is dedicated to Robin by Steven. Did anybody know that? Yeah, I wrote that. Well, I wrote the music to that. Time Slips Away, and Steven did write the lyrics to Robin. Absolutely. And I would like to redo that song sometime. I feel like it was a very demo sounding song, but it was a great song. It just needs to like kind of be redone, better quality. But that's cool that you remember that song. Willie Wayne. Steven always talks about Robin when they play his songs he helped write. Yes, and one of the coolest things, I've mentioned this before, but I know I don't look anything like Robin, but Steven always would say to me that I would reminded him of Robin, just my personality and my playing and my sound and everything always reminded him of Robin, and that he always wanted me to be in that Robin guitar position. Having to go join Steven's band and take the lead position was kind of just because he had an issue at the time with the guitar player he had, and he needed somebody to replace him right away. But it was like something I didn't want to do. I was like, no, I don't want to. I can't do the Warren stuff. I'm just a regular rock guy, But I'm happy that I got pushed to be a better guitar player all those years where I was his lead dude. And of course, I'm the lead guy on the records. You know what I mean? It's just me playing guitar on the stephenpearcy records, and the leads and everything. But for the last like couple years, I've moved over to the Robin position. There was a few trolls out there that said something negative about that, but I'm totally as long as I'm on the stage, I don't care. That kind of stuff's like meaningless to me. The other two bands I play in the Project and Pump 5, I'm actually on stage, right? So I'm comfortable that way. And I've been having a great time rocking out with Matt right there. You know what I mean? We're like Judas Priest, like doing the moves together, and it's totally fine. And it's almost less pressure for me in a lot of ways. And I can actually just have fun. Just taking my Les Paul lately out there, just whatever. It sounds heavy and fat. I'm having a great time. It's all good. John Evans, love the Fright Bite, good old fashioned sappy fun. My favorite character is Dr. Von Brainscan. You nail him. That's an awesome jackpot score. Another great Unleashed live. Thank you, Eric. You are so welcome. I truly thank everybody that was here tonight for my first Wednesday doing the Unleashed show. We're definitely coming to an end here, but I'm going to read a couple more comments. We got Mr. Champ. Pump 5 second leg of the tour was very eventful, to say the least. Yeah. Pump 5 just went out with Texas Hippie Coalition to do some shows, and he called me and told me about some of the stuff. I should have Steve on the show again at some point here to tell us about it. I don't like to tell other people's tales. I still have to talk to him to hear it from his mouth, but they did have some trouble with the van, I think, out there, but they did make all their gigs and had a good time playing the shows. And I think the show parts went fine. Okay. Eternal Servant. When I asked Steven whether to come to Japan for a solo tour in 2007, first name he said was Erik Ferentinos. Anybody who listens to me, that's cool. I just renewed my passport because I'm hoping we do come to Japan. I feel like I've never been there personally, and I know Steven has a strong connection with Rat, and the Japanese people loved Rat, and they thought Robin was like a god, like a giant, god, rock god. And it would be so cool to go out there and play the Rat songs one more time for the Japanese people. And so I want to make sure I'm ready to go if it comes up. And my passport like just expired recently, and I was like, I gotta get this going. Now that I know that we're back, I'm back in the band playing. I went and I'm ready to go when it happens, Eternal Servant. Let's hope it does. Spicoli, I'll smoke with you, Pantera, dude. Yeah, you're talking about Tim Lloyd. Tim Lloyd 69, who's a fright biter. He's an unleashed hanger outer here. This is a true story. He was on Pantera's payroll back when they were touring and huge. He was paid to be their joint roller. Okay, so Pantera's joint roller was Tim. He was pretty much family. He was family to the Pantera guys, and he named his daughter Pantera, who's also friends with me still. I've known Pantera since she was a little girl. Dime was Pantera's godfather. It's a pretty strong connection there, but he's got great stories from back then, and of course he's still rolling joints today. And yeah, spoiler alert, there's like he brought all these joints to this to one of the shows. It was just this crazy, oh my god, I got so high at this thing. It was like the Monsters of Rock cruise all over. Did you remember when I told you that story? I ate the edible and just got so high and paranoid and freaked out and had to go back to my cabin. This is like the same kind of thing. I was like, okay, guys, Skojo, Tim, I gotta go. I was worried I was so high I wasn't gonna be able to find my like hotel room. So it's pretty funny. I don't want to like spoiler alert everything, but you guys got to watch this tomorrow when it comes out. Spicoli, did you go to the Del Mar Fair and buy Vans out of the trailer for $25 a pair? Good times, bro. Well, we have eBay for that now. I'm always looking for cheap deals on stuff. Speaking of which, I've had two more problems with things I bought. One was I was on Facebook, and you know how you'll see like an ad for some clothing store or something, it'll show like some stuff that you like. You're like, whoa, those look like cool stage pants or whatever. Like usually I don't do anything like that off of Facebook, buy something off a Facebook ad. I've never done it before. And now I know why I've never done it, but I see these pants look like they could be stage pants. The guy wearing it just looked super cool, the fit that I would like. I end up ordering it one night. I was just feeling like buy online shopping, right? I ordered these pants. It took like a month to get these because, of course, it turns out they're from China, right? And they were supposed to be kind of like leather. I'll show you right here. They showed up, but these showed up today. And man, this is like the cheapest fake. I mean, I knew it wasn't real leather or anything, but this is literally so thin and just fake looking and doesn't fit good. I mean, it looks like it's made out of hefty bags. The only thing I can think to use this for is maybe a character on the Fright Bite or something. I would never risk wearing these on stage. They would rip so easily. So it was like, that was a waste of $50. Then I've been getting into Western shirts lately. The Count's been wearing them. Hold on, time out. The Count's been wearing the Western shirts. So I saw one from a brand that I've gotten some of his other ones from, and it was on eBay. And I knew it was used, but it said it was in excellent shape. And I thought, well, if I could save $10 from buying a new one, it was really, I liked the embroidery on it, and the color was different than my other ones. And that's really what made me want to get it. It was unfortunate that it was used, but if you're going to say excellent condition, like, as you guys know, if you were buying something used, but it said excellent condition, you would expect it to look like somebody would say, hey, is that new? Like at the most washed maybe once, right? Or twice. Like you can't say like new. You can't say new without tags, but you're taking the next highest rating down, which is excellent. That means you're not going to see any flaws on it. This thing looks like pretty much a new shirt, even though it's probably maybe washed once. Correct? Can we all agree with that? Well, I get this shirt and it shows up, and I mean, here you're probably not going to be able to tell, But this thing has been through the wash like probably 25 times. It's like shrunken down. The black here is like completely faded. When I took it out of the package, it stunk. Man, it smelled like somebody like was doing rodeos in it for like a week straight and sweating it up. It just felt dirty, like it needed to be washed. Like I wouldn't just take this out and put it on and wear it. Like, and now washing it again, it's probably going to fade some more. But I was like highly annoyed. This person like priced it at like $25 plus the shipping. I mean, you could have bought a new one of these for 35. So the way they were pricing it made me think that it was really going to be in great shape. And when it showed up, I couldn't have been more bummed. Like there's like threads kind of pulled off going all down the buttons, the button area, which is, you know, a sign that you can see that like threads hanging down. The thing was all wrinkled and stuff. I mean, they didn't catfish me. I mean, I definitely feel catfished on the Chinese leather pants for sure. But the shirt, it is the brand name they said. They did send the shirt, but I had to write to that place. I was like, you know, first I go, hey, this shirt's been through the wash. You put it as like excellent condition. And of course they put no returns. It doesn't matter because the way this is priced, it was $25 shirt plus shipping. I paid like with the tax, like $35. If I was to return this shirt, it's going to cost me probably $10 to return it. And I won't have anything. And to know I went through all that and have nothing and lost $10 plus the headache, I just didn't bother. But I wrote a pretty scathing note back to this person because they wrote to me and said, well, in my opinion, it's in excellent condition. And that's when I just kind of went down the list of everything that was wrong with it. And I go, I think you need to concede that this thing is in like fair to maybe good. And I don't even think you could say good condition because it stinks. It smells like mothballs. And they tried to argue and say, I don't even know what mothballs are. And I'm like, whatever. It just smells bad. It smells like I need to wash it right now. And you have balls like saying that this is excellent condition, you know? But I'm not even going to bother. I'm not bothering with my time's more valuable. Just like going to the post office, like having to pay to send this back just to get my other money back. Like whatever. I'll use this shirt to like on the Fright Bite for something. I'll like dress up a character with it or something. But man, that's like two things I got screwed on. That's like $100 wasted pretty much. Oh, Dennis Hill's here, folks. Upland, Bubba. Upland. God damn it. Yes, it's not Pomona. The Lemon Fest is Upland Lemon Fest, and I'm dumb. But it doesn't matter because I'm going to Dennis's house first, and I'm following him there, so I can't screw it up. Anyways, glad you're here, Dennis. Dennis sings Death of Me song, if you didn't know that. And Jeff Plant is our other singer that sings most of the other songs. And both great singers. Both will be singing their butts off that day. And it's going to be super dope. I'm going to practice my ass off for this all day tomorrow. And then the show is Friday, and it's going to be great. John Evans, we love Dahlia. Well, I hope she's watching tonight because she is getting a lot of love from the audience. Dahlia is the best. Well, there you go. She needs to hear this stuff, guys. You got to build her up, man. Lee Ming, I eat all the chocolate. God, be careful. You're going to get a bellyache, Lee Ming. Spicoli, Scorpions were the shit. So many good albums. Yeah. Definitely had a lot of good albums. Eternal Servant, are you from Japan? Yes, Eternal Servant is from Japan. I can answer that because Eternal Servant won prizes and then was nice enough not to make me send them to Japan. All the money. You know why? Oh, I do owe Jim Martinez a mystery box. And you will be getting that. I did not forget about you, Jim. I just was busy with the shows we just did. And then I had Fright Bite yesterday and I had the Unleashed today. But tomorrow's the day that's going to go out to you. Thank you for your patience with that. Skylar, yep, it's always a fun time. Got Frank Sicko's in the house, y'all. What's going on, Eric? What's going on, Frank? I think Frank's in Connecticut, right? Is that right? Eternal Servant, Lee Ming, yes. Japan in the house tonight. Very cool. I have lots of love for the Japanese people. I have love for everybody, really. I mean, there's nobody that I don't get along with. And one thing I love about Frightbite and the Unleashed is that I have kind of an eclectic group of people from like all walks of life here, and all different colors and flavors and stuff like that. And to me, that's a great sign. You know what I mean? I don't want to have just all of one group of people, at my parties. You know what I mean? Like I like, well, I'll even say this, like, one cool thing about when I did sales and I worked as a telemarketer, like telemarketing places understood that. Like they understood that you need to have a little bit of everybody if you're going to be successful. Um, they were calling all different areas of the country. You know what I mean? And maybe the whatever white guy isn't going to work, calling this the hood. You know what I mean? Like they had every kind of race that worked at this place. And what I liked about that was we all got to like hang out together, and we were all at the same level. We were all just there trying to get sales. We were all in the same boat. There was an equality there just with us, just our struggling in life. If you've got a telemarketing job, you're probably like not the most employable person typically, or whatever. Some are actually professional salespeople there that were on the up and up, but anyways, it was a good opportunity for me to become friends with and work with people that were different than me, whether they were whatever race they were, or sexuality, or whatever. And it's like that's important, because then you just feel more comfortable and you're not as judgmental over people. So I'm appreciative that I had that time, and I think it's just something cool. Like I equate that to like here now. I like that I have just an eclectic group of you guys here, and that you all like what I'm doing makes me think that I'm doing it right. So John Evans says, love the Scorpions. Macaulay, got to see them at the Monsters of Rock in Houston. I got to see Scorpions at the Monsters of Rock in the LA Coliseum with Van Halen and Metallica, Dokken, Kingdom Come. Like that was one of the craziest shows I've ever been to. I was probably like 15 years old and got to see that. And it was something else, man. That was a great show. Were any of you guys there? You probably saw it in your state. I think Reach for the Sky was my favorite Rat tour. That's cool. That's around the time I met Steven. Like they had just done Invasion of Your Privacy, or Dancing Undercover. Excuse me. They had just done Dancing Undercover, and Reach for the Sky was going to be coming out, and Steven moved in across the street from my parents in Carlsbad. It was crazy. This was like in what, 1988, 7 or something like that. And I remember he gave me a t-shirt for Reach for the Sky. And it was like a really like adult shirt. It had like some cowgirl on it. It was like bending over with her butt hanging out. And I was like, oh, I don't think I could wear this anywhere. I was like still living at home with my parents. It's kind of funny. Frank Sicko, which 80s band would you be in if you could have been in a band? Oh, like you mean been in a band back then, like back in the 80s? Woo. Well, that's a good question. I mean, towards the end, I mean, I was a huge into Metallica and stuff. When I was playing guitar, like as a teenager. I don't know, man. I mean, I didn't really want to be in any of the bands that I listened to. I mean, I just like you guys, I was fans of them and their music, and it's kind of sacred in that sense. I mean, I was happy just being a fan of them. I guess nowadays it would be interesting to play with on a recording, or have something to do with maybe a song that's written, like be a ghostwriter, or have something to do with any of these legends. Like I've gotten to do stuff for Steven. Maybe I'll branch off and do some songs for some other people now that I'm getting a little more known and what have you. I mean, that could be cool, but I know it's kind of a crappy answer to your question, but I really can't narrow it down. Li Ming, I'm from China, Eternal. Yes. Li Ming, how you know English? Most Japanese people don't learn. That's not true. Come on. What's going on here? Shoto Takahashi. Konnichiwa, Ohio, Eternal Servant. Yes. Everybody's welcome here at the Unleashed and the Fright Bite. Let's see. Frank Sicko. How is stephenpearcy? He's not currently, he's, I guess, in remission, I guess, as far as any cancer or anything. I'm pretty sure his health's good, man. He seems, I mean, it's trippy. He's literally, you hear people use that term alive and kicking or whatever. Steven does kicks all the time. Like, you can even see it like on my road vlogs, like backstage, you'll see him just like kicking up in the air, like doing head kicks and stuff. He's even doing it like in the one I'll post tomorrow. I mean, I don't think I can kick my leg up that high, and I'm 53, he's 70. So he's definitely alive and kicking. Hi, Marsha, says Skylar. Marsha's my super carrot, if you didn't know that. She's a really good friend to me, especially we've known each other for a couple years, but I think in the last year, she has been a super duper good friend to me through some hard times. And, you know, just a very supportive buddy and a friend to the animals. And right now, if you are also friends with Marsha, you're following her cat saga. Like, she's the kitty whisperer, and these cats like come to her from the wild. These feral cats show up to her house, and one Torty just gave birth to 5 kittens. And I mean, I waited weeks to see if these cats survived, and it's been cool, man. I'm always pushing her to do a YouTube channel just to show you guys all these animals that she cares for every day. I think it would be a cool, like, just reality show. Okay, what else we got here? Eternal Servant. Hello, Shoto. Keep rocking with Eric and Steven, young man. Yes. Wow, it's cool to see some of my friends I haven't seen here in some weeks. We're back for the show tonight. Thank you guys so much for being at this. Nikki, that's fantastic. Glad to hear the new tour management is building everybody up. Yeah, he's super cool. Like, it's fun again. Like, I was really, you know, stephenpearcy band was my life, and I 25 years, and this is, you know, this isn't something where you get a pension, you know, for your 25 years. Like, this is it, you know, and my happiness is important, and I just was not happy. I just didn't care anymore. It was just kind of going through the motions, and it's like I feel like now I could live again and just enjoy this charmed life, you know. So thank you so much, Eric, for doing these hangs. Really fun chilling. Yeah, it's totally cool. I'm glad you were here. Jay Krager, long live rock and roll. Yeah. Okay, Skylar's reminding everybody to hit that like button tonight and do whatever you do. Hype it up. Leave me a comment. Of course, everybody's here in the chat, but leave a comment on the video if you're watching the replay. You got a question, I'll still answer it. If you missed the live chat, but there's something you want to ask me that's not, you know, that's respectful, of course, I will answer you in the comments section too. That stuff helps the algorithms push my videos out, gets more people to the channel. Tim Lloyd, good night, everybody. Stay high. Well, you'll be seeing Tim Lloyd tomorrow night on the next road video. We got Zachary Attackery. Look, Eric, am I the best looking guy? No. But do I have a great personality? No. But do I get up every day and try to be the best person I can be? Also, no. Man, well, you're honest though. We like that. No, Zachary Attackery's cool. He's been sticking up for me through some of this crazy stuff. So thank you, bro. I appreciate that. We had a crazy night in Tokyo. Yeah. Let's see. Zachary, I just want to see if there's any. Oh, Marsha's throwing in some more love. My gift was nice. No issues. Yeah, Marsha gave me a cool this thing. It's pretty cool. She just sent me, actually. Look at this cool charger. She sent me so much cool stuff, but this thing's got like all the attachments for charging your stuff. It's like a Swiss Army knife for charging your shit. It's good. All right. Well, it's just a love fest with everybody in the chat tonight. Shoto, China's bigger manufacturer than Japan, so you'll get more products from there, including bad. Yeah. I've gotten good stuff from China too. I mean, I've gotten some clothing that was actually decent that I was happy with for some while. But once in a while you can get kind of catfished on some stuff, where like this, for example, there's no way I would wear this. I mean, it didn't even look good fit-wise, but it was kind of a bummer. You live and learn, But if you find a place that has good stuff, there's a company called Hard and Heavy in China that they've had some cool stuff, and I've got some good deals from them. The recent tariffs have kind of screwed everything up, as we know, but that's not just China. Obviously, that's everywhere. Canada, you name it. Pool time, John Evans. I went GTSY. Good seeing you to everyone. Okay. Anywho, fun show tonight, says Spicoli. Yeah, I think we're gonna cut it, guys. Good stuff, man. I'll give you guys a clap, a round of applause. Good times. Tomorrow you guys are going to get a brand new road vlog for this past crazy weekend that we had for the 80s rock invasion. You're going to dig it. So check that out. I should have it by 3:00 Pacific. I should have that out and ready. And I can't thank you guys enough. This was fun. I'll see you Tuesday for the Fright Bite, and we'll be back here Wednesday to do it again for another Unleashed. Be cool and be kind to each other.